I mean, when I'm betting on real fights.
Real fights, yeah.
Not saying that they're not real fighters. They're novice. They're novice professional fighters.
Conor McGregor still called you a donkey. Do you have any feelings on that specifically?
I think Conor McGregor's funny as but guess what, Conor? I'll beat the fucking out of you, and you can't box as good as me, and I'm gonna do to Nate what you couldn't, which is knock him the out. And you're gonna be sitting there with your new beer company that's failing.
Floyd Mayweather has reportedly shared his thoughts on the potential fight between Jake Paul and Conor McGregor. The idea of Jake Paul facing Conor McGregor has been floated around for years, fueled by their larger-than-life personalities and their success in the ring and octagon, respectively. Jake Paul has surprised skeptics with his dedication to boxing. Over the past few years, he has steadily improved, showcasing power and grit in his matches against former MMA champions like Tyrone Woodley and Anderson Silva. His size and strength would give him a distinct physical advantage over McGregor, as he stands taller and naturally fights at a heavier weight. Mayweather acknowledged Paul's commitment to the sport, recognizing his progress and mental toughness. However, he also pointed out that Paul's experience is still limited to opponents who, while skilled, are not elite-level boxers. Mayweather believes this gap in experience could prove crucial, as technique and strategy often outweigh sheer power in the ring.
But when I'm betting on fights, I'm betting on fights that's top flight. But that is a top flight novice. That's the best novice fight professional novice fight that's going on right now. So may the best man win.
On the other hand, Conor McGregor's background as a striker makes him a formidable opponent. Known for his precision, power, and ability to read his opponents, McGregor has proven his striking prowess in MMA, including against high-caliber competition. His left hand, often referred to as his most dangerous weapon, has ended fights in spectacular fashion. Mayweather, who defeated McGregor in their own boxing match in 2017, credited the Irishman with high fight IQ and the ability to adapt under pressure. However, he also raised concerns about McGregor's conditioning, noting that cardio has been a recurring issue for him in longer fights. In addition, McGregor would face a size disadvantage against Paul, which could make it challenging for him to control the tempo of the fight. Mayweather refrained from making a definitive prediction but highlighted several factors that could shape the outcome. He emphasized that boxing is a sport where strategy and discipline often trump raw power. Jake Paul's ability to remain composed and stick to a game plan would be critical, while McGregor's experience in high-stakes bouts might give him the psychological edge. Conditioning, Mayweather noted, would also play a key role, as both fighters would need to sustain their energy over multiple rounds. Furthermore, the mental warfare between these two larger-than-life personalities would add another layer to the contest, with each attempting to unsettle the other before the first bell.
Jake Paul, as long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, where his mindset's at.
He'd get up by Canelo. He'd get demolished.
Beyond the technical breakdown, Mayweather acknowledged the sheer financial appeal of this matchup. With both fighters excelling in self-promotion and commanding massive fan bases, the fight would undoubtedly be a pay-per-view blockbuster. Jake Paul's influence among younger audiences and McGregor's global star power would draw millions, making it a commercial spectacle as much as a sporting event. In Mayweather's view, Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor represents more than just a fight. It is a collision of two distinct worlds, boxing and MMA, old-school technique, and new-age celebrity. While the matchup remains speculative, the buzz surrounding it is a testament to the unpredictable nature of combat sports. Mayweather's analysis highlights the complexities of this potential clash, leaving fans to debate who would emerge victorious in what could be one of the most talked-about events in fighting history. Meanwhile, Conor McGregor's interactions with Jake Paul have changed, suggesting that the two may actually be getting into a boxing match. Paul, often labeled a problem child, has never shied away from expressing his desire to face UFC star McGregor in the boxing ring. With an impressive 11-1 professional record, he has repeatedly challenged the notorious fighter, sweetening the proposition with enticingly lucrative fight deals. Paul's most recent call-out of the Irishman came in the wake of his unanimous decision victory over Mike Tyson in November, telling a post-fight press conference, "And it's funny to say Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never box him, but it's the truth. And look at him go toe-to-toe with Nate Diaz, who was easy work for me. It was like a Monday sparring session to beat Nate Diaz's ass. He doesn't ever want this smoke with me. It will never happen." In the early stages of his career, McGregor brushed off Paul's fight challenges, minimizing the impact the content creator had on the world of boxing. McGregor's stance began to evolve as Paul carved out his own reputation, defeating a roster of former UFC icons, including Ben Askren, Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz, Tyrone Woodley, and Mike Perry. Speaking to the media a few years back, McGregor explained, "I couldn't care about them two dingbats," taking aim at both Jake and his older brother Logan. When asked if he would ever see himself fighting either of them, McGregor added, "I don't see so, but, never say never. If they're going to keep competing and whatnot, who knows? But dingbats." Regarding his dislike of Paul, McGregor has also been extremely vehement on the internet. Taking to X after the YouTuber's TKO win over Perry in July, McGregor wrote, "Jake Paul is the biggest pissbag I have ever seen in my life. 40-pound weight difference juiced out of his head and still shitting himself in there. Nikisa, you should take him to Vegas. Oh, that's right, you could never. The athletic commission testing, real fighting. You could never. And then calling out 60-year-old Mike Tyson fresh off an in-flight medical emergency? I swear to God." McGregor recently revealed that he's in discussions for a fight with Logan, using X to shut down speculation about a potential matchup with UFC featherweight champion Ilia Topuria anytime soon. He explained, "The rumors of a bout with Topuria are false. I am in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I have agreed. I will then seek my return to the octagon." But according to recent reports, the Irishman may actually be considering a lucrative fight with Jake. Earlier in December, Jake wrote on X to clarify why he had declined to negotiate with McGregor or his team without the UFC and Dana White's help. Now it all makes sense why Conor McGregor and his management team have been desperately trying to get MVP to negotiate for a fight between us. As we told them privately, and I'm now saying it publicly, the only way we're willing to explore me versus Conor in a pro boxing MMA fight is if Dana White, UFC are at the table directly or make it clear they are okay with discussions. Conor is washed. Needs the Pauls. Logan, by however he wants. 2 days later, Jake wrote, "Big announcement in January." In response to that post, Conor McGregor, boasting a professional MMA record of 22-6, has been absent from competition since his July 2021 TKO loss to Dustin Poirier, a bout that ended with him suffering a fractured leg. The 36-year-old had been scheduled to make his long-awaited comeback in June against fierce rival Michael Chandler at UFC 303. However, a broken toe forced him to withdraw just weeks before the fight. Renowned for his exceptional southpaw boxing skills, Conor McGregor has stepped into the squared circle just once as a professional. That singular appearance came in 2017 against Floyd Mayweather Jr., ending in a contentious TKO defeat in the 10th round. Could 2025 mark his return to the ring for a clash with either Jake or Logan Paul?
No, I fancy him for it, to be honest. I fancy a man's a bit windy. The other cat's a bit windy. Yeah. So, but he's a donkey. The guy's a donkey, yeah, the other cat. Yeah. A donkey has a kick as well. So you just got to be worried of that. So, but I just think, Mayweather and that is no man. Be careful and be in his face and I just think it's really Nate, really Nate.
It's surprising to imagine McGregor deriving any satisfaction from someone else tangled in a messy lawsuit, especially given his own recent defeat in a civil case at the Dublin High Court. Perhaps that's why he decided to delete the tweet. Alternatively, he may be preparing for his upcoming fight with Logan Paul and doesn't want to mock his rival's misfortune, particularly when the two might soon be working together. Earlier this month, Conor McGregor sent shockwaves through the combat sports community by revealing he had secured a preliminary agreement to face Logan Paul, Jake Paul's older brother, in a boxing exhibition scheduled for next year in India. Mystic Mac, however, hasn't stepped into the ring since suffering a devastating tibia fracture 3 years ago. It looks like his UFC comeback will have to be postponed for the time being, thanks to a rumored exhibition boxing match in India. His return to the UFC might not happen until at least the latter part of 2025. However, there's been a new development. Recent reports suggest that Jake, rather than Logan, could be McGregor's next opponent. This makes a lot of sense considering Jake just faced off against Mike Tyson and is likely to bring in more revenue for McGregor than a fight with Logan. Conversely, the UFC could block McGregor from facing Jake Paul, as Dana White has a strong personal dislike for him. Logan Paul, however, is contracted with WWE, which falls under the umbrella of TKO Holdings, the same parent company that owns the UFC. Moreover, Logan's beverage brand, Prime, is a sponsor of the UFC, and White shares a friendly rapport with him. While the situation remains fluid, One thing is clear. Conor McGregor is likely enjoying the prospect of Jake Paul facing significant legal challenges. Meanwhile, sports betting has now released odds for both the Conor versus Jake and Conor versus Logan matchups. One notable takeaway stands out from the betting lines for both scenarios. In a possible showdown between Conor and Jake, the current betting odds place Jake at MIUS 300 and Conor at plus 240, making Conor a significant underdog in this matchup. When comparing these odds to a potential fight with Logan, Conor is listed at plus 110, while Logan stands at minus 140. While Conor remains the underdog in this bout as well, the gap is noticeably narrower than in the proposed fight against Jake. The betting odds also suggest 2 additional matchups for Jake, with a balanced spread between the favorites. If he faces Roy Jones Jr., Jake is favored at minus 400, while Jones Jr. stands at plus 300. In a potential bout with Canelo Alvarez, Jake is the clear underdog at plus 750, with Canelo dominating the odds at minus 1500.
And Conor McGregor can say what he wants, but he won't fight me either. So once I knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it. But you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
With Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul potentially moving closer to becoming a reality, Sean O'Malley has claimed that the YouTuber would have a very good chance of upsetting the apple cart. The former UFC champion clarified why the WWE superstar shouldn't be written off, as talks heat up between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul. For a potential blockbuster boxing match in India, the combat sports world is buzzing with speculation about who would come out on top in this highly anticipated showdown. Having both faced Floyd Mayweather, Sean O'Malley is leveraging their shared opponent to express his perspective on how he believes the upcoming fight will unfold. During an episode of The Sugar Show, he said, "Wasn't Logan and Floyd pretty close? Logan is a big motherfucker. Floyd is the best boxer in the world, and it was somewhat close." And Floyd pieced up Conor a little bit. Tim Welch, his co-host, remarked that although many might see the content creator as the more imposing figure, the Notorious has noticeably bulked up since their last encounter in the ring. The MMA coach said, "We always remember the old Conor, but Conor is a solid 185 pounds, possibly 190. When we saw Logan at Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, he said he weighed 190 pounds. He wasn't nearly as stacked as you're used to seeing him in the WWE. He is tall. I think that's a competitive fight." O'Malley agreed. "I do too. I would love to see Conor come back and starch someone in the UFC. If I could pick anything, I want Conor to come back, fucking walk out, hit someone with a left hand, and then jump on the cage." Though the Maverick may be on the verge of an epic showdown with Ireland's finest mixed martial artist, Christmas Day saw him put aside thoughts of combat to savor precious moments with his family. Amid the holiday cheer, the social media sensation twirled through the evening with family and friends as the Christmas lights shimmered softly behind them. Additionally, he shared a photo of the gift that Jake Paul got him. Additionally, it appears to have cost the problem child a lot. Beyond his troubles outside the cage, 2024 has been another subdued year for the Notorious inside the octagon. At 36, Conor McGregor has yet to return to action after his crushing loss to Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 in 2021. Hopes for his comeback earlier this year, with a showdown against former lightweight title contender Michael Chandler, were dashed when McGregor had to withdraw from their UFC 303 bout due to an injury just weeks before the fight was scheduled. At 38, Chandler chose to step into the cage for a highly anticipated rematch against Charles Oliveira. While he showcased moments of brilliance during the fight, the American ultimately fell short, losing by decision. In the aftermath, Chandler wasted no time calling out McGregor once more, but it seems the Irishman is focused on a different challenger. McGregor is reportedly in talks to fight Logan Paul. Paul, widely recognized for his WWE career, is a newcomer in the boxing arena. Nonetheless, he has stepped into the ring with notable figures such as Floyd Mayweather and faced KSI on 2 occasions. His most recent bout took place last year against Dylan Dennis, a former MMA fighter and Conor McGregor's teammate. Paul emerged victorious after Dennis attempted a takedown, securing the win in the process. Although a showdown between McGregor and Paul seems highly improbable, let's entertain the possibility. If the former UFC champion were to overpower the WWE star with a brutal knockout early next year, it's almost certain that Jake, Logan's younger brother, would seek retribution. Known as the problem child, Jake has some ring experience under his belt and boasts an impressive 11-1 record.
What I really want is Conor.
The
I'll put
ideal
the nail
order?
in his casket.
Ideally, if you could have it your way, is it Nate, Tommy, Conor? Is KSI anywhere in that equation
Well,
anymore?
if KSI fights Tommy, he's gonna get knocked out.
Yep.
I guess it's all kind of in the air. Time will tell.
A showdown between McGregor and the problem child in the summer of 2025 could potentially eclipse, or at least rival, the buzz surrounding Paul versus Tyson. If the Irishman manages to defeat both Jake and Logan Paul within the same year, it's safe to say his financial prospects would skyrocket. A knockout win over both would likely fuel his desire to keep competing, perhaps even leading him back into the UFC octagon by year's end. Recently, McGregor has expressed his desire to settle the score with Chandler. "I'd like it to be Chandler," McGregor said about his UFC comeback ahead of Anthony Joshua's loss to Daniel Dubois in September. He said, "I'd like that to be squared away. I wish him well against Oliveira, but let's see how it goes." While UFC boss Dana White is yet to name the Irishman's next opponent, the American does see the Notorious fighting next year. When asked if McGregor will fight again, he replied, "Yes, I wasn't 100% in 2024, but I am in 2025. I just am. I know more than you guys know. I'm 100% confident McGregor will fight next year. Although defeating Jake and Logan Paul back-to-back will be fantastic. A battle and victory inside the renowned UFC cage will be the icing on the cake." Meanwhile, Eddie Alvarez, the former UFC lightweight champion, has raised doubts about the likelihood of a showdown between Conor McGregor and Jake Paul, the YouTuber-turned-boxer. Although McGregor has shown interest in facing Logan, his relationship with younger brother Jake has been marked by constant back-and-forths over the years. A showdown with the problem child in boxing seems more plausible. However, McGregor's former rival, Alvarez, has pointed out that securing approval from his parent company, the UFC, will pose a significant challenge for the Irishman. In an interview with MMA Fighting, Alvarez said, "Realistically, I think he still has 2 fights left on his UFC contract. I just know how difficult it is, especially when you're that valuable to a company. I haven't been as valuable as Conor, but back when I was basically Bellator's main guy, I know how difficult it is to get out of those contracts. They don't make it easy." He added, "For him, making the company hundreds of millions of dollars, I don't think it's going to be an easy exit. I think he still has 2 more fights with the UFC, and I'm not sure how old Conor is, but he's not getting any younger. So it's going to be tough for him to fight those fights out and move on to another contract. So realistically, I don't know if he could fight BKFC, and if he does, it'll be maybe when he's older." McGregor would need approval from the UFC to face either Logan or Jake, as he still has 2 fights left on his current contract. However, with both the UFC and WWE under the same parent company, TKO, a potential agreement could be reached. Despite this, a bout with Jake appears more probable, though negotiating the terms could present some challenges. In a recent promo, Logan seemingly honored one of the Irishman's most legendary lines. The Maverick is gearing up for his comeback on January 6th for Monday Night Raw. While hyping up his highly anticipated return, the 29-year-old dropped a well-known McGregor quote while speaking to the crowd. Paul said, "If you have something I want, I'm gonna take it. Logan Paul's a bully. Yeah, I am the bully, and the WWE is my playground. So look, I'm not here to take part, I'm here to take over. Your approval means nothing to me. Whether you love me or hate me, I don't care, because you're still watching." There is growing conjecture as a result of McGregor's social media tease of the bout and his suggestion that it would happen in India. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith is one of the commentators, and he wasn't holding back in his assessment of the possible fight. "I don't think he's ready to be back in the UFC. I think he would get his ass kicked thoroughly," Smith said on First Take, expressing his preference for McGregor boxing Paul over a UFC return. He added, "These fighters are elite. Their definition of being in shape and ready to fight isn't bloating themselves up with muscles and looking good in the mirror." Smith brought up the fact that McGregor's most recent notable triumph was against Donald Cerrone in 2020, which many people thought was lackluster. Smith pointed out McGregor's recent struggles, arguing that Logan Paul's size, athleticism, and background in exhibition boxing might give the YouTube star-turned-WWE sensation an advantage. He's not Jake Paul training with professional boxers and getting in the ring with non-boxers or geriatric dudes. Logan Paul is doing this as an entertainer, Smith said, adding that Paul's stint with Floyd Mayweather showcased his athleticism. Although Smith recognized McGregor's impressive legacy as a 2-weight UFC champion, he questioned whether the Irishman could adjust to the technical intricacies of boxing. "He's just sitting up there, not even throwing. You ain't clipping Logan Paul like that," Smith remarked. Reactions online to the rumored fight have been divided. with numerous fans doubting the authenticity of the matchup and voicing their weariness over the growing trend of influencer-led boxing bouts. Memes and online remarks have mostly ridiculed the fight, branding it as a money-making stunt, a view strengthened by McGregor's track record of broken promises regarding past bouts. The possibility of McGregor and Paul facing off is sure to attract a lot of spectators despite the skepticism. As Smith put it, it's pure entertainment. The fight might be another big event in the world of influencer boxing, regardless of whether spectators view it as a show or a genuine contest. On the Ariel Helwani show, Helwani validated the possibility, noting, "Now you may be asking yourself, okay, how is this possible? How could Logan Paul compete against Conor McGregor in a boxing match? Logan Paul is a WWE competitor. Conor McGregor is a UFC fighter. Well, then you quickly come to the realization that the parent company of WWE and UFC is TKO, so they are all under the same umbrella. Very easy to get done." Amir Khan, the former boxing champion, has shared his thoughts on the rumored clash between Logan and McGregor, suggesting it would be a more logical matchup for his brother Jake to face off against McGregor instead. In an interview with the Sports Daily, Amir Khan expressed confidence that Conor McGregor would have no trouble handling Logan Paul in a fight, pointing to the bout between Paul and Floyd Mayweather as a reference. He added, "If you look at Logan's Mayweather fight, he went into the ring and beat him, so I'm sure Conor could do the same. I don't think Logan is as good as Jake. I think Jake's the better one out of them too. Even though he's a little bit heavier, I still think he's very, very beatable. Conor McGregor by knockout because Logan is very limited as a boxer. He doesn't punch as hard as Jake, and his skills are not as good as Jake's, but it'd be massive." Nevertheless, the WBC International Welterweight Champion believes that, without a doubt, a bout between Jake Paul and Conor McGregor would be the more compelling matchup. "I do think if it was with Jake, it'd be much bigger. Because if you look at Logan, he's had losses, and he's not really looked that great in fights. Jake is commercially a bigger fight," Khan explained. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.